question. This question is for 1, 2, and 3. Why are you single?
You know, I ask the Lord this every day.
Just preach, girl.
No, this is number 3. I feel like when it's time for me to be married, God will make it happen.
Oh, God.
Here we
God's
go.
going to make it happen? God is going to make it happen.
Period.
Like, God is not just gonna make it happen at the right time. The perfect man is not just gonna come at the right time. The perfect woman is not just gonna come at the right time. You have to willfully seek that out. And what do I mean by willfully seek that out? Habakkuk chapter 2 says, write down the vision and make it plain. Be intentional of whatever it is you want out of a man. Be intentional about whatever it is that you want out of a woman. Be intentional about whatever it is that you're seeking from a person about yourself. So be intentional about the things it is that you want personally for you, right? So that's why I say being single is such a blessing, because it's a time when you get to get in tune with who you are and what to be prepared for and what to get ready for.
The same man that you spoke on that God told to marry the prostitute, he didn't make him do it. So he had to free in his own choice do that. So you're saying that that same God that did not make that man in obedience go after that woman, God is going to make it happen for you.
God is going to put the right words in the ear of the person that needs it to be, who needs to hear it, and he's going to put the right words in my ear, what I need to hear. And because I have the free will and I have submitted my life to the Lord, I will obey in the direction God is beckoning me to go.
So number 3, you're basically saying that you have not met the right person yet. That's what you're saying?
Oh, I'm not saying that.
Okay, so what happened to the beckoning? So if you met the right person, what happened to the beckoning?
I'm just saying that I'm in a period of fasting and deliberation. And I'm just going to let the Lord move through my life. I don't know about y'all, but I'm single because God is still moving and working in me. And that's his will for me in this moment.
So the record's showing, just for the record. So number 3, you're single.
For the record, Your Honor.
For the record, you're single because God is still working on you.
Yeah, I mean, you can take it however you want, sir. However, number 1, I just want you to let the Lord use you as he's using me. But I would say I'm not really good with expressing myself, but I would say I'm single because it's just not in God's will for my life. Right now, at this day, right now, I'm not married. Like, that's just how it is.
Understood.
It's your fault, God.
Ladies, the question on the floor is, what would you think the reason your ex would say is the reason you're single?
So this is number 2. To answer that part of the question, it will be because he wasn't ready.
I can agree.
That's a bold, like, he said that out of his own mouth. He knew I was the best thing for him, but he wasn't ready.
You know what's so crazy to me about that is that it's like dudes usually when we really, really, really know like we got that kind of woman in front of us, even if we not ready, we not gonna say, yo, I'm not ready. We gonna be like, I'm about to get ready. Like straight up.
About to get.
So you saying somebody
But
lying?
when you're emotionally in tune, you would. But that's another conversation for another day. To answer the first half of the question though, the reason I'm single is because, so I had a whole plan, right? Like, okay, we're gonna be married by this age, start having kids around this age, start whatever. So now that I look back at that age that I've now passed, I wasn't ready. And if God would have given me everything I prayed for and wanted at that time, it would have been a burden and not a blessing. And so I know that God definitely did a work in me and in the things that I've gone through the years since and things like I'm doing now in my life. Had I been married, I probably would not have taken all the risks that I've taken. I would not have been bold enough to take the leaps that God has called me to, knowing that I had other people depending on me. And so now I feel like I'm in a position where I'm comfortable, I'm confident, And so going into a relationship, I'll be more of an asset than a liability.
Okay. What say ye, number one?
Listen.
My ex would probably say that I am still single because I think because our relationship was just very unhealthy. There was a lot of sin involved, a lot of hurt involved, and I really needed to take the time to really heal from a lot of those things the right way. So that could lead into why I'm still single, is because I've just been taking these past few years, which is a lot longer than I thought it would take, to really just heal myself emotionally and gain my confidence back, really learn about myself, my relationship with God. I think that I really needed these past few years to work on those things alone.
And acknowledging that I'm in my healing journey, I see that after being in some bad relationships, that is coming from past trauma and experiences and a misguided worldview of what singlehood, of what love, what relationships, what marriage looks like. And after talking about this with God, God is showing me that I need to heal, and God is showing me that it's not really quite in his timing yet, and that there are certain things I have to go through in preparation for marriage. I will say to that point that there is no such thing as being perfectly ready, and that people get married at different stages in their lives, and they can have to continue growing and maturing in Christ.
And also I think in this season, I've really just been focusing on work and stuff. So, and I'm a little picky and stubborn, so I think good men can come around, but that doesn't always mean like I'm just willing to say yes.
Exactly.
So
Amen.
I'm trying to figure out what my yes would look like, or like how I would know to say yes.
What say you, number two?
Say, brother. So from what I'm hearing, it sounds like she got a lot of options. With a lot of options come her not. She's not ready yet because she's still playing in the option pool.
You ain't feeling none of the options that's on the table. You like, nah, this ain't it. This ain't popping.
The luxury of choice.
I'm not saying that. I'm not really. I feel like you're trying to make it sound like because we have options, we are weighing each option and like engaging with each option and like really like going on dates and talking to them about marriage and all these things, when like that's not what's happening. I think because I don't have a very like solid yes, I'm just chilling and keeping my distance. We're friends. The favorite word. Men hate the word friends, but I don't really know how to.
I love the word friends.
We need language around the word friends.
All right. So I have a question. I think that radical self-awareness is a virtue. So tell me 3 things. Let's use the word toxic, since that's like the buzzword. 3 toxic traits about yourself. Every single one of the women.
I'm not even gonna lie. It's scary to me when someone can't name any toxic traits about them.
Yeah,
that's scary.
I would like 3.
I concur with number 3 and 2.
Number 1, I don't really like to open up about my feelings and stuff like that, so I can be very dismissive sometimes and kind of like isolate myself or cut people off. Not like fully off, but I just won't really like engage with them about certain things. So that's 1. Should we popcorn?
Each get one?
I mean,
he waiting for the other 2.
yeah, please, if you don't mind.
Man, this is so hard. Toxic traits.
See what it is? They trying to think of which ones ain't that crazy.
Ain't that bad.
They like what can I share
Which
that
ones
don't
are
make
not
me
that
look
bad?
that crazy?
That's what I said during my first question. Accountability is, but
They like, no, not that one. I can't say that one.
We're just thinking.
The other one. Yeah, that's it.
Sometimes I will say, you guys did mention something earlier, that sometimes we are more attracted to like the guy who isn't like the
really great Christian guy. I think sometimes like I have that issue where someone who isn't as strong in their walk is more appealing to me. And not because of that reason. I don't know what it is.
That's unpacked.
That's a lot. That's heavy. One more if you don't mind, please.
We appreciate the real.
Yeah,
We appreciate
I like the
Toxic trait.
Can we do 2? 3 is kind of.
My third toxic trait is I get my nails done every month, and that could be a financial burden.
No, that's upkeep. That's upkeep. That ain't toxic.
Maintenance is not
Why do I have to give all
toxicity.
3 right now? Like, why can't you come back to me? Can I pass? Can we just do it?
All right, go ahead, number 2.
Tagging somebody else in. This is number 2. I'll jump in. So one of my toxic traits, the top one I would think, is I definitely have a wall up. It takes me a minute to really fully trust somebody. It's like a lot of people know me, right? And a lot of people can consider me a friend. I consider a lot of people acquaintances. Like it takes me a minute to really open up and like let people into my whole world. So that's one thing. Another toxic trait, I can I'm the oldest of my siblings, and so I notice like I can kind of carry the weight of the world on my shoulder, and I try and help everybody. And at times that can be like an expense to myself. So it's like I may drop the ball in my relationship trying to help friends or help somebody else, and that's something that I've definitely worked on.
That sounds like an interview question, like when they're asking,
That was a good one, too.
you know, like what, like.
Well, hold on, wait a minute,
I'm such a
pause.
hard worker.
I'm so giving.
That's
a good
a
one
hard
because-
worker. I'm telling you, I sometimes put my relationship on the back burner for other people. That's not something you would
They won't
say.
feel it till they're in it.
Basically.
No, that actually do low key sound toxic to me.
Thank you. That's not something to brag about. Like, oh, you may not be a priority next week.
It was the way you approached it.
Yeah.
It sounded so much like building yourself up. Then to say this little thing about, so it was like in comparison, it seemed like it wasn't that crazy. But no, that's still real though.
She was branding, yeah.
I mean, I work in communications. I have a degree in communications. Y'all know
Let her speak.
Be my life.
Let her communicate. Okay, you have another one.
I'm a pass for this third one. 'cause I-
Okay, so I think I'm agree with number 2. I think that there is a wall. I think that could be a little toxic because it takes me a lot to trust somebody, and I feel like the toxicness would be that no matter what or who you are, I really don't trust anyone in this world fully.
Saying I didn't want to bleed on someone who didn't cause the wound, and all that I meant by that was that I didn't want to hold somebody accountable or responsible for someone else's actions. I feel like right now if I was to enter into another relationship, I would be judging someone else off of the actions of someone else. I would be entering into the relationship not trusting that person based on something someone else did, and I don't feel like that's fair. I feel like it's a little selfish of me to be praying for a healed, whole husband when I'm not healthy enough to be a wife. There are certain things that I want in my next relationship, and I feel like I should be able to provide those things as well. And if I can't, I think that it would be best if I didn't entertain a relationship, because if I go into it knowing that I'm not whole enough to be in it, it's going to be harmful for both parties. To be honest, I really just don't want to be the reason why someone had to go to therapy.
And I think that another one would be sometimes I can be.
So what does that look like? Because that doesn't sound toxic. That just sounds like you're guarding yourself. So
No, that's toxic. No, that's very toxic. That's like the shirt.
I just wanted an example.
Okay, so another one would be I think that sometimes I can be very insensitive. I come from a very blunt, aggressive African background. So we tell it straight, and I think that could be maybe toxic sometimes because instead of being patient or, putting a little bit more emphasis to like make sure someone's feelings aren't hurt, I'll just say it like it is, which I think could be toxic. And then another thing would be I'm an overthinker, and a lot of times I don't want to just sit and wait for something to play out. I want to figure out and solve it right then and there. And I think that can be toxic because a lot of times things will maybe play out, or instead of just trusting the process or trusting whoever it might be like trying to guide me, I just want to figure it out myself and do things my own way.
That's a deadly combination, to be like super blunt and to be an overthinker, like both of those together. That's crazy.
But I respect
crazy.
it. I respect that.
Yeah. Thank y'all for y'all's honesty and transparency. We appreciate it. So this is number 3. And the question that I have for y'all is, what is your view on submission in a dating relationship, and versus how does that look in a marriage?
Sorry, this is number 3. I hate to talk so much, but okay. I think as far as dating, you have to have a certain level of autonomy, because you don't know if that person that you're dating, if you guys are actually going to make it to marriage. And you don't want to say that, like, just being a good steward with the person that you're in a relationship with, you don't want to say that you basically didn't steward them well. So sure, submit to them, but also I feel like there has to still be that level of, you're my brother in Christ, you're my sister in Christ, and you guys kind of still have to have your own, like, there has to be some autonomy in the relationship. So sure, I mean, sure, submit, but I mean, really, are you really supposed to? Like, I don't think submission really happens until marriage.
No, you're right, it doesn't, but I've seen people not even try to test it out in different ways. Then they get married, and then they realize, oh, I don't know, oh, he doesn't know how to lead, he doesn't know how to provide, like none of that.
I feel like we can learn so much if we serve in our local church family. So I just want to shout out everyone who has a church home. Make sure you're serving and you're under the leadership.
I've dated some women that were amazing at serving at church, and man, trash. Like, they were like trying to run the relationships like crazy.
I mean, I don't know, but I feel like you should be submitting under your accountability partners or your spiritual authority, but like necessarily under your brother in Christ, your co-laborer with Christ. I mean, we're partners. Like, you're not leading me. I mean,
so how do you? So what does a relationship look like when you're dating a man?
I don't know. I'm a horrible person to ask. I feel like it's a partnership, right?
So I agree. I think it is a partnership, but I disagree. I do think he is supposed to be leading you, even in dating, right? So my prayer is the next person I end up dating is somebody who's following God, so I can follow him properly. So like, there's a line of submission, right? So he's submitted to God, I'm submitted to God as well, but God is giving him directive, almost like the Adam and Eve complex. Like, God gave Adam the direction, Eve was supposed to follow it from what Adam told her. And so I take that even into marriage. I think that submission, I think it's a beautiful thing. I know a lot of people don't agree with that, but I think it's a part of the woman that in essence helps that man lead well. Like, if I'm submitted properly, he can lead us well, and he can take care of our household while I'm also taking care of the house. And so it's a team effort, it's a team, like, it does take teamwork, but everybody has to play their part. Everybody can't be the quarterback, everybody can't be the lineman, everybody can't be LeBron. Like, you have to play your part to make sure we get the goal at the end.
Good job, sister.